The fairy Berry Loon lived in a palace on a very high mountain. It was near the moon. On clear summer nights, you could see the moon from the palace. The fairy looked at the stars and read their secrets. She was very wise. "This old planet no longer interests me," she used to say to her friends. "The giants of the mountain. People live with their eyes closed. Poor things. I feel sorry for them. I visit them sometimes to help the children." That is why she came to Tiltil's house on Christmas Eve. Now, let's go back to Tiltil and the others. They were on the road when the fairy said, "You can't walk through the village like this." The village still had lights from the Christmas party. The fairy touched Tiltil's head. She used her magic. A group of fireflies came and carried them up to the sky. Soon they were at the fairy's palace. "Follow me," said the fairy. She walked through rooms full of gold and silver. They stopped in a big room with mirrors. There was a large wardrobe with light inside. The fairy took a diamond key and opened it. Everyone gasped. Inside were beautiful clothes, crowns, necklaces, and bracelets. The children had never seen such wonderful things. The things were confused. It was their first time seeing the world. The fairy helped them choose clothes. Fire picked a red and gold dress. He didn't wear a hat because his head was hot. Sugar liked soft colors. He chose a blue and white dress and a tall hat. He looked silly, but he didn't know. He danced in front of the mirror, very happy. The cat wanted to look smart. She chose black clothes with shiny stones, a long black cape, and a big hat with a feather. She also wore soft boots and gloves. She looked proud and happy. Then the cat invited Fire and Sugar to go outside with her. The others stayed to get dressed. The three friends walked through beautiful halls. Then the cat said in a quiet voice, "Let's talk before we lose our freedom." They heard, "Bow, wow, wow." "Oh no," said the cat. "The silly dog found us." The cat looked at him with dislike. "He is dressed like a servant," she said. "That suits him. He has the heart of a servant," she hissed. "Eft, Ev," and stood tall between Sugar and Fire. The dog didn't notice. He was too happy. He danced around in his fancy clothes. He wore a red velvet coat with gold. He had no vest to show his yellow fur. He still wore his collar with his name. On his head, he wore a small red cap with a feather. One ear was free to hear everything. He also wore shiny boots. But he didn't wear gloves. His front paws were too useful. Tylo was proud, but he still acted like a dog. He lay down and scratched the floor. Then he jumped up and whined. His lip trembled. "What's wrong with the fool now?" asked the cat. Then she heard a soft song. Tylo hated music. A girl's voice came from far away. It was Water. She walked like a ghost, soft and quiet. Her silver dress moved like waves. Her long hair was decorated with coral. Fire made fun of her. She forgot her umbrella. But Water smiled and said, "Were you talking about a big red nose I saw the other day?" Whose face was always red. Fire was angry and jumped high. The cat spoke sweetly to Water and said she looked lovely. She didn't mean it, but she wanted everyone to like her. She looked around. "Where is Bread?" she asked. "He couldn't pick a dress," said the dog. "He chose a Turkish robe with a sword and a turban." Just then something huge blocked the door. It was Bread. His stomach was so big that he got stuck. He didn't know why. At last he turned sideways and squeezed in. "Here I am," he said. "I'm wearing Bluebeard's best clothes. Do you like them?" The dog jumped with joy. He thought Bread looked amazing. The yellow velvet and silver shapes made Tylo think of tasty rolls. Bread's big turban looked like a sweet bun. How nice he looks, cried the dog. How nice he looks. Bread smiled shyly. Then Nook walked in. She wore a simple cream dress. She didn't want the fancy clothes the fairy showed her. She was very quiet and humble. Bread started talking about the clothes of Tiltil, Light, and Mytyl, but the cat stopped him with a loud voice. We will see them soon, she said. Stop talking. Listen to me. The first one, time is short. Our future is in danger. Everyone looked at her, confused. They felt something important was happening, but human words were still hard to understand. Sugar moved his fingers nervously. Bread touched his big belly. Water lay on the floor and looked very sad. Milk only looked at Bread. They had been friends for a long, long time. The cat grew impatient. She continued, the fairy said that when the journey ends, we will all die. So, we must make the journey as long as possible. We must do everything we can to stay alive. Bread, who was afraid of turning back into bread and being eaten, quickly agreed. But the dog stood far away. He acted like he didn't hear, but inside he was angry. He knew what the cat wanted, and when she said, "We must stop the children from finding the bluebird, even if it is dangerous for them," the dog could not stay quiet. He jumped at the cat to bite her. Sugar, Bread, and Fire quickly stopped them. Order, order, said Bread. I am the leader of this meeting. Who made you leader? Shouted Fire. Why are you talking at all? Asked Water, shaking her wet hair at Fire. Excuse me, said Sugar, his voice shaking. Let's talk kindly. This is a serious time. I agree with Sugar and the cat, said Bread, trying to end the fight. This is crazy, barked the dog. Man is our master. We must obey him. I follow only man. Hooray for man. Man forever. In life or death, man is everything. But the cat shouted louder. She was angry at Man. Now that she was human, she wanted to fight for animals and things. We all have a soul, she said. Man doesn't know that yet. That's why we are still a little free. But if he finds the bluebird, he will know everything. Then he will control us completely. Do you remember the time when we were free? Then her face changed. Her voice became quiet. Wait. I hear the fairy and Light coming. Be careful. Light is on man's side. She is our enemy. But the group didn't know how to hide well. They looked so silly that, when the fairy came in, she asked, "What are you doing in that corner?" They thought the fairy knew their plan. So, they all dropped to their knees. But the fairy didn't care about their secret thoughts. She came to tell the children about the first part of their journey. Tiltil and Mytyl stood in front of her, holding hands. They looked shy, but proud in their fine clothes. Mytyl wore a yellow silk dress with pink flowers and gold sparkles. She had an orange velvet cap and soft white sleeves. Tiltil wore a red velvet jacket and blue pants. And of course, he had the magic hat on his head. The fairy said, "The bluebird might be at your grandparents' house in the land of memory. So, you will go there first." "But how can we see them if they are dead?" asked Tiltil. The fairy smiled. "They are only truly dead when we forget them," she said. "Thanks to the diamond, you will see that people we remember still live happily." "Are you coming with us?" asked Tiltil, turning to Light. "No," said the fairy. "Light cannot go to the past. She must always look to the future." The children were ready to leave, but they were very hungry. The fairy told Bread to give them food. Bread smiled, opened his, and used his sword to cut 2 slices from his big belly. The children laughed and laughed. Tillo forgot his worries and asked for a piece too. Then everyone began singing a goodbye song. Sugar, feeling proud, broke off 2 of his fingers and gave them to the children. As they were about to leave, the fairy stopped them. "Not today," she said. "The others must not go. It would not be polite. You are visiting your family. Go now, dear children," she added. "But come back on time. That is very important." Tyltyl and Mytyl held hands and walked out with the big cage. The others stood in line to go back to the palace. But Tylo didn't join them. When he heard that only the children would go, he decided to follow them in secret and protect them. He hid behind the door. But the fairy had sharp eyes. "Tylo," she called. "Tylo." He came out with his tail down and joined the others. He cried when he saw his little master and mistress disappear down the big golden stairs.